What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. So this is a resume of the previous video. Um, I'm for some reason I deleted Grand Tactician Civil War. I don't have many games on my library here. As you can see, anything that's in white is installed. So I played Burning Command demo. Um, and as you can see, there's War Tales. That was it. And my entire drive, how slow this loads, is 10 gigs. I mean, 256 gigs. I literally have next to nothing on this computer. It's just Windows clutter. Um, Now, I can tell you, being in the IT industry, right, for so many years, one earn orbs, interesting. Being in the IT industry for so many years, Windows is by far like, and I know some of you guys might have differentiating opinions on this, is by far the worst operating system. It spies on you. Like, and speaking as a former Microsoft employee, every keystroke you type, right? Everything you say around your microphone is recorded by Microsoft, processed on their Microsoft servers. Um, I remember talking to my manager, I'm like, why do we do that? And I think she gave the reason that we do that for data collection to benefit the experience for the customer. I had a hard time believing that. Uh, anyway, Windows 11, as you can see, I'm on. I found out some really interesting things. It's a lot slower than Windows 10, and I just found out why. So, do you see this recommended side here? This actually uses Google code, excuse me, Facebook code, right? That Facebook developed, and what it does is it uses this code to search, inside the operating system and outside the operating system. By removing this, it'll speed up your computer substantially. So that's like my next thing. I rarely go on Windows. I would say this is probably like I go on this operating system, the OS, maybe like once or twice a month, if that. So that's why I haven't gotten to it, and I still have, I think, Copilot. Yeah. Oh gosh. So that's why I still have Copilot there. I haven't gotten around to cleaning Windows. There's a few applications that I use to all that crap out of Windows, but I don't usually spend my time in Windows. Linux has gotten so good now that I'm able to play most of my games in Windows. One of those games, though, I cannot play in Windows. Excuse me, in Linux. I have to play in Windows, which is Grand Tactician Civil War. Now, one thing I did want to ask you guys is, since I don't have work, and I'm probably not going to have work, um, for yeah, I mean, I have a job interview this week, which I don't think is really going to um come on, which is, I don't think it's really going to develop anything. I've been on so many job interviews at this point that I'm just out of out of hope at this point. When you get rejected from so many jobs, it gets demoralizing. And yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it gets demoralizing. Um, and oh, you can see all my figures there. There you go. Look at that. And see, I'm on Missing Bite. This is one of my favorite sites. I wish I could do their web hosting because I would do it for free if I could. Uh, I'm a big Apple fan, as you guys know. I know some people are not big Apple fans, but I'm also a big Linux fan. My PC that I have right here is running Fedora Linux, and that's pretty much what I run my computer on. I was running my app server on Fedora Linux. I just switched to Ubuntu because I've been having some trouble with ports and stuff like that. So I want to see if Ubuntu is a little different on managing that. We'll see how that works out. Um, Anyway, where do I want to go? Let me pop out the chats. There we go. Okay. Uh, pop out chat. There we go. See, unlike Linux, you can't keep this on top, which stinks. So once this loads, another thing I do notice on Mac and Linux is that so like Windows, I'm at 54 megabits per second, but on my Mac, which is right next to me here, can do easily like 100, 200, 300 megabits per second downloading. I think my Steam Deck, which runs on Linux, can do approximately that. So and working in IT, business IT, corporate IT, and stuff like that, I do notice that Windows has issues, to put it lightly. Mm. I love IPAs, man. Anyway, once this loads, hopefully it kept my saves, which I'm expecting it to have done. And we'll get to play some Grand Tactician Civil War. I was showing my buddy here Civil War 2. Yanni, who, if you're watching this, buy this and buy Grand Tactician Civil War. You need to, my friend. I've been playing War Tales with another friend of mine. It's an okay game. I wasn't really surprised by it. Uh, one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is so since I'm in this situation where like I've tried like every rabbit hole in the field, right, and nothing has kind of worked. Um, should I make a game? Should I make an independent GoFundMe game where I make my dream was to make, and I actually have a design document on this already. I actually like it's multiple pages, highlights everything. I think gave it to Matrix Games to as a proposal. Uh, the idea that I had was like to make a Civil War Generals 2 type of game but of the eastern and west. So what I'm talking about is imagine Civil War Generals 2, but instead of like a scenario of just like Washington D.C. or Manassas or whatever, we're talking about a massive map. We're talking from Maine down to Florida, all the way west to Texas, right? Each hex being, each I still have to figure this out. Each hex being a certain amount of miles or a mile or whatever, right? And I already have the order of battle set up, how to move units, how I put all that in the design document. But basically, it was going to be, um, it, I made this design document before Grand Tactician Civil War, but I'm going to put it in Grand Tactician Civil War framing. So imagine you are by Manassas. Your screen is at Manassas, right? You have, brigades are the individual unit, right? You slide out with your mouse. The middle part right here. You slide out like Google Maps, right? As you slide out, it goes from brigades to divisions to just army, right? And you can click on the army and have it move to I don't know, Chattanooga, right? And it'll actually perform an automation where it'll actually move the army through rail all the way to Chattanooga. And then let's say there's a Union army there, you can zoom in with your mouse, right? And zoom in and go down to the battlefield where you have individual brigades on hexes. So that was my idea, which was to bridge the scenario with the campaign of Civil War Generals 2. So I was thinking of doing that on GoFundMe. And if I could do that, that would allow me to still live um, with the home, right? Not in a vehicle. Um, and actually have some kind of a job kind of thing. Because I'm at this point where I'm just I don't I don't know what to do anymore. To be honest with you, it's it's kind of rough. We have three kids, so we have rents, we have bills, we have all this stuff that we have to maintain, and I'm out of work. My wife's not out of work, thankfully, uh, but it's really tough. It's really tough. Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of see it. I mean, I see in the groceries that I buy every week. Like stuff that costed me $100 now is costing me 120, 130. I'm like, am I adding more stuff to the cart? Like, no, this seems normal. Yeah, it's not. It's stuff's going on. I see stuff that I normally buy. I used to buy like potato chips from Walmart. They were like crazy cheap. They were like less than $1 or about around that. And so, when you see like barbecue, regular flavor, sour cream and onion, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, let me add one, and you're like, that was $5. I got five big bags of potato chips. Dang, man, that's great value. And now they're like $2. So like now I go one. I'm like, wait, $10? Whoa, cheese. Where did this come from? And then just everything else, like feta cheese, like all the regular dinners that we buy, like everything is just up. And I run a nonprofit where we kind of sell shirts for the military and stuff like that. And I noticed the regular prices that we had, like, I call it, they used to give me like, this is what person ordered, this is how much the expense is, this is how much you paid, and it would say like profit, right? And it would say -$2 or -$3. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I had a look, and yeah, apparently my merchandiser um, had to change prices because of the tariffs from Mexico. So I had to redo all the pricing on that. I still haven't finished it. So, and it's a nonprofit, so I'm not really gaining any money from it. It's just little bits and pieces here and there. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of cray. And geez, man, this thing is taking so long. Look at this. We're at 11 megabits. 11 megabits. So while we do this, let's take a look at other things that are going on. I did want to cover Matrix games while we're waiting. What the frack? Okay. So, interesting. I wonder if it was the SSL issue. That's weird. Anyway, so I saw this news from Matrix Games. They're doing something called the Hot Seat. And every month, Marco, which is a really awesome person, he got us so many incredible things. Like the reason we have Stargate, the reason we have Terminator, the reason we have all these Battlestar Galactica is because of this amazing person here. From the industry for open, honest, thought-provoking conversation, no script, no fluff, just real insights on the topic that mattered the most. So I'm very interested in this. I plan to attend this meeting, maybe live stream it. So we're kicking off with a strong game desire of 11-bit studios, including by Frostpunk last autumn. We'll share insights, game design, storytelling, what it takes. We'll also have other guests Ian McNeil, CEO. That will bring her top 3 strategy games of the month. That will set the stage for a lively discussion. Okay, this is very interesting. This is something I definitely want to see. I look forward to it. It's July 23rd, so Okay, it already happened. I missed it. I'll be there for the second episode, but ooh, here's the Alienware. I do like Alienware. Dun, dun, dun. I like the animations. Milan. Marco, if you're from Milan and you're doing this, you need to have like an espresso. I'm putting that out there. You gotta have an espresso or coffee. Oh well, he does technically. Terminator on the left hand side. Yes, and World's on the right. This is RTS. This is RTS. It has a really great team. So like zoom in, put the graphics up there. That's why they didn't need me. I gotta say, whenever I hear Broken Arrow, I always think back to that Mel Gibson sign, part of the movie in We Were Soldiers, where he's like, "Hastings, Broken Arrow," right? And then Hastings like, "Broken Arrow, Broken Arrow," right? And then you have some people back at the talk, right? Technical Operations Center is like, "Oh, there's no hiding this now."
RTSs are just going back to the roots to recreate experiences that we're familiar with, and still try manage to create experiences that sell it to players that are new and an audience that's fresh as well. Uh, we as a company, as an example, we are very much rooted into turn-based strategy games. If you look at what we have been having as successful releases over the last 3, 4, 5 years,
Keep it
it
up.
consists of
Just keep it
Wargamer,
up.
Terminator, Broken Arrow, ICBM Escalation, all RTSs, and that is a good sign of how RTSs are
Yeah.
healthy. And you've seen it in the initial numbers how
Yeah.
the genre is becoming the healthier of all in the strategy gaming segment. Alrighty, so who plays who plays strategy games on mobile? I think it's an interesting topic here,
I
and
want
I'd
to.
like to see you commenting on this because weirdly enough, looking at the research and the latest numbers in 2023 and 2024, the most played genre on mobile is strategy games. You might not think they are strategy games as you are used to play them, but games like Clash of Clans and
Yeah.
are all
I
very
mean,
popular.
technically, they are strategy games. They are money pits. That's what they are. Um, I was a big proponent of strategy games on phones. I was a big proponent. Go back 10 years ago. Watch this channel 10 years ago. I was a big proponent of bringing strategy games to mobile, and Slytherin Matrix games did do that. Right? We have numerous games, right, that they released at that time period. Uh, I'm not a big proponent of that now, and the reason being is the amount of investment versus revenue that you're going to get dwarfs the other, right? So I can play Starship Troopers on my phone, right? And for Slytherin to do that, they're going to have this code base switched from the x86 64 to an ARM based one, which is going to be a lot of work. And if you guys are not familiar, your phone is very different from the phone chip that powers your phone. Is very different from the computer chip that powers your desktop or your laptop. So to have the developer go back, take Starship Troopers, and have it kind of recompile for your phone takes a lot of work. It takes months, if not a year, maybe longer, right? Uh, and there are different things that you can do to kind of to lessen the amount of work, but it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some work. Now, the problem behind this is 10 years ago, if you would have asked me, I would say yes, do it. Today, I would say don't. And the reason being is because the industry has changed quite a bit, right? So you have the Steam Deck, which was the big disruption in the industry, right? Uh, Originally, if you wanted to play your games on a mobile device, you needed that, right? As you can see, there's a strategy game being played by, right, not here, but here. Well, not here, but here. So Steam Deck brought that capability, and there have been numerous handhelds that have come out. Um, this is the next one that's supposed to be uh, it's supposed to be the Xbox, made by Asus, and it'll be able to play your Steam library on top of your Xbox library. So, do I believe in bringing your games to phones to change all that code and everything? No, not anymore. The investment's gone. The That market is kind of gone. Uh, if you make one, Like, let's say if you want to bring Panzer Core 2 to the iPhone, you'll get an audience. You won't get the audience similar to Clash of Clans, or even a fraction of that, right? Even if you do massive amounts of PR and such, you just won't in terms of the expenses that you put into it. What you can do, what I would recommend you do, is this is the market of the future, handhelds. Now, I think handhelds, we see Steam bringing it out, and we see Asus and numerous other manufacturers just putting tons of money into this market, right? It actually has increased the Linux market share from like 4% to 5%. That sounds small to you guys. However, let me make sure I have the chat there. But to go from 4 to 5% of the worldwide market share, like 8 billion people, right? We're talking what? So 5 times 8, that's 40 million people. Am I getting that right? Or 400 million people, whichever. We're talking about millions of people, going to Linux. And that's pretty huge. Um, yeah, that's pretty huge. So you have the Steam Deck, you have the Asus. There's a few other ones out there. Um, I would not invest money in the Logitech. That really crash and burn. If you want to watch a lot of this stuff, keep up onto it. Linus Tech Tips has really great videos. Um, but this is what I would. Yeah, it's the ROG Ally. This is going to be the Xbox handheld, right? And is it going to beat the Steam Deck? I don't think so. Steam Deck is really greatly priced at like it's about $400 roughly, right? You can literally get your pretty much whole Steam library, games like Panzer Core 2 and such, on a handheld device. So if you're on a plane, if you're on a train, if you're on a lunch, whatever, you could play your favorite games on your handheld. The ROG Ally, Microsoft's working with them to bring both the Xbox and uh, Windows games to a handheld. Now, this is difficult to kind of express a little bit. So the Steam Deck can pretty much play 90% of the PC games out there. It uses a layer called Proton, which basically says to the Windows game that you download, let's say you download Panzer Core 2. It tells Panzer Core 2, hey, I'm a Windows computer. You could play on me, right? And it loads Panzer Core 2. It runs the Windows background tasks, so it kind of confuses it a little bit. Not confuses it, but basically makes it believe runs on Windows. Um, and it runs a lot of games. Like I play NBA 2K25. I play, I mean, I play a lot of games on there. On my Steam library. Let's see how this is still on 96%. Jeez, man. But I play like games like RimWorld works on there, Fallout works on there, Dwarf Fortress I believe works, Hades definitely works, Space, Norland works on there. So a lot of these games that are in your library, I believe Star Trek Prodigy works on there, run on the Steam Deck. Like 90+% work on the Steam Deck. This ROG Ally takes it to the next step because it actually runs a custom version of Windows. It takes out all the bloatware of Windows. Believe it or not, your Windows computer runs fax. Yes, your Windows computer runs technically tax service. I don't know why, don't ask me why. It runs numerous other services, which is what bog down games. This is supposed to run an Xbox cleaned version of Windows. So it's supposed to be take these games that you love, take out all the background services, get rid of them, and speed up the game and get you a nice solid experience. Now, what I would recommend Slytherin doing is Don't worry about handhelds. Don't excuse me. Don't worry about mobile. It's mobile is going to be with us for a long time. Phones are going to be with us until you know glasses, AR glasses take over. Don't worry about that. Make sure your games work on the Steam Deck and on Asus ROG Ally type devices. That's what I would recommend.
Especially
Um,
strategy games. They're so
because if I
fast.
can play, you could play Civilization 6 now on my Steam Deck. I have it over there. I've been playing it for like 3 hours today. I could play Civilization 6 on it. If I could play Panzer Corps 2 on it without any disruption or inconvenience, wow. That's all I'm
And
gonna say.
they are recognized and featured as strategy games. One of the cool things about our job in, especially in marketing and publishing, is well, look at how
I'm gonna leave you
our
guys. I'm gonna have this
will
refill.
target the audience. And when we do advertising campaigns, for instance,
Hey, buddy.
we will be catering for that audience, strategy games, and strategy games for us, we compete against chess games. So, in terms of advertising, it's the same audience. In terms of course, taste, it's a different audience. But it's very interesting to see that there is an opportunity there for anyone to attract an audience that's kind of starting to get used to these types of games and maybe bring them into more complex experiences. To celebrate that, we have a couple of interesting releases. First of all, Warcraft 2 releasing, I think, in a couple of days or next week, actually, next week on iOS and Android. Great game. Finally coming to mobile. This is one of our favorite, and I really can't wait to see how it goes because if one thing can go one way, so going from mobile to PC and maybe bringing some of the audience to our platforms, I think that the same can happen on the opposite. So people coming from a PC and playing on mobile and having cross pollination between the two platforms. The other one is the wonderful SOVL or Soul Fantasy Warfare. Great game. I think half the people we have in the office play it daily. It's a great, nice experience. Perfectly fitting for mobile. This is coming out. This has just come out on iOS. So if you haven't, just go and try it and play it. It's a really, really good game. I think you should you'll really love it if you like the stuff we like. On new releases. This is something about which also love to see what you think about. But one of the things is what is coming up this year, and of course there's a lot coming up. We have a lot of games. This year is going to be a record year for Steam for number of releases for sure. We're already about over 10,000, or I think over 11,000 released games this year on Steam. Last year was about 19,000, so very, very likely this year we're going to go over 20,000 releases. There's a lot of stuff coming out. Our favorite ones definitely going to be Heroes of Might and Magic Golden Era. Um, by Ubisoft and our friends at Hooded Horse. This game is, of course, probably the most wishlisted strategy game, or like hardcore strategy game out there. Lots of expectation for this game, of course, and very interested to see how Ubisoft and Hooded Horse are going to work together on the release of this game. The other one is another Hooded Horse game that we are very much anticipating, which is Endless Legend 2. The game is releasing, just been postponed actually, to the 22nd of September in early access. Looking forward to that. It's going to be an interesting one because, big production, Amplitude, the studio behind it, has a lot of experience in, first working as an independent studio, then working with Sega, now working again as an independent studio. I'm really looking forward to see how the guys there execute this new game and make it happen in a market where 4X games desperately need some innovation, and they are very, very good at that. And going back to Ubisoft, actually, going back to Ubisoft, we have the release of Pax Romana, Anno, the new Anno game.
Heard some good things.
broad strategy, I guess. But this is one of the, of course, one of the most
Ubisoft's on the
popular
decline, though,
here
to be
for the
honest,
genre.
from what I've been hearing.
How the guys at Ubisoft have managed it.
So the thing about it is like, and Marco, if I doubt you're watching, I've been out of the game for a little bit, but uh, we need your magic. And what I mean by that is we need your magic. So what we need is the Expand strategy game. Now there is an Expand game coming out. Um, right. A lot of my friends are huge Expanse, but this is basically Mass Effect meets the Expanse, right? And this is what drives me nuts a little bit. No offense to the developers of Awakot Games, but the thing that drives me nuts is what when you watch The Expanse, and it is a big show on Amazon, right? They bought the rights to it. Millions of people watched it, right? The number one thing that people from The Expanse, right, love is the space combat, right? Is you have this Martian fleet and this Earth fleet. They're meeting at Jupiter here, and instead of flying like this, they turn around this way because they have to do a de-accelerate burn before they flip back and attack each other. Right? It has a lot of really amazing uh, mechanics in that aspect. Um, they make a third person shooter game. Like maybe you have a good story to tell, but dude, like you're not gonna get. I was talking to my friend Bob a couple of nights ago. I'm like, hey, there's a Expanse game coming out. Really? Showed him the game, and it's just like, oh, I thought it was gonna be like a space combat game. Exactly. You already lost somebody right there. So I would love Slytherin Matrix games to kind of pick up on the Expanse, make a space strategy game, right? What I would have loved, and this thing drives me nuts. I'm gonna make its own video on this. Um, Star Trek Infinite, right? This game was a game that I've dreamed about for 26 years, a quarter of a century, I've been dreaming about a sequel to Star Trek Birth of the Federation. I even did a podcast with the original developers of that game, right? And this brought the Solaris engine, right, to Star Trek, and basically Star Trek meaning Stellaris. And it was a good game. I liked it. It had some bugs. It had the potential of becoming an incredible game. It was only centered on the alpha and beta quadrant. There was talk of a DLC, pretty much confirmed DLC of Delta and Gamma quadrants being introduced. The game opening up even further. So I had a lot of like you have a neutral zone here. Um, you had a lot to this game, but the game came out in October. By December, it was gone. I think the last dev blog of this was December. Paradox kind of put their hands up. CBS or Paramount was like, "We're not funding this anymore." And I've been keeping up on the Discord of this game, and the modding of this game is much more difficult than it is for Stellaris. So there's a very small modding community for this game, very small. Uh, Not even close to what is out there for Star Trek Breath of the Federation. So the game that I dreamed and hoped didn't work out because Paramount, CBS, and Paradox. Um, to be honest, especially Paramount. Paramount's by far, and the CEO of Paramount, right? ended Star Trek series, right? And you guys know I'm a Star Trek fan. She ended numerous Star Trek series, Star Trek Lower Decks, Star Trek Discovery, and so on. She cut them short to cut expenses. Meanwhile, it was the platform that brought people to sign up for CBS All Access or Paramount Plus now, right? It was kind of like the shining star. Hey, you sign up for Paramount Plus, we have Star Trek, we also have these other shows, right? And if you watch tech news, right, senior tech editors, they were saying basically there's only going to be a few streaming services that last the streaming wars: Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV Plus, because they have the money, and there was going to be room for one more. Now, Paramount Plus could have been that, but they cut Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Section 31, which had was cut from a series to a short movie, and the movie didn't do well because it was supposed to be a series. And then Star Trek Lower Decks was cut, had so much that was cut, and now they just did Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which was getting 100% Rotten Tomatoes, got a lot of reviews. They cut that down and, in essence, canceled the show after the saying the show is not going to go beyond 5 seasons. Um, so we don't have good stewards of these IPs, right? So what I want Matrix Games to do is take up these IPs, take up Star Wars, take up Star Trek, take up The Expanse, right? And go up to these publishers and say, look, you're gonna make money, we're gonna make money, and the fans are gonna be happy. That's it. That's what it comes down to, right? The fans are gonna be happy. You're gonna make crap loads of money. I'm gonna make crap loads of money. Fans are gonna be happy to give us their money, right? And dude, I'll be happy to give you my money, right? Just make the game that I want. Like I'm in a really bad position in my life right now, right? If Star Trek Infinite right now was still around, which we're talking almost 2 years because it was October 12th, right? We could have had two DLCs at this point: Gamma and Delta Quadrant, Dominion, Cardassian, Borg, much more gameplay mechanics, right? And instead of me being upset, angry, depressed every day, right? And, just being like, you know, and, getting, we chose to go with another candidate, and you're like, oh man, my life, man, just everything is not working out. I could have been like, yeah, that part's not working out. However, let me go play some Star Trek. It's going to put me in a good mood, right? I can't do that now, right? I can't do that. Why is it the fans have to take the place of developers, right? Why is that a thing now? Why is the fans, like, a good example is this, right? I'm going to show you here, right? I talked about this before. Star Wars Rebellion, right? I've been wanting a sequel to this game for since 1997, right? And some developer indie guy decided to say, look, it's time for an update to this game. I'm going to make an update because no other developer will make a sequel to this game or make an update to this game. And so he went, or him and his teammate went, and basically updated the game to the point where it's version 2.0. So the question I have to ask is, why is it up to the fans? Why is it up to people that put no money into it, right? That are expecting no money from it, giving the fans what they want? The fans wanted a sequel to this game, right? We don't have it. Fans wanted a sequel to Star Wars Empires at War, which did really well, right? No sequel to that. And it's just like I feel like how you call it, Biff Tannen, knocking on Marty's heads like, "Hello, anybody home? Think, my fly, think." Like I want to go and be like, "Hello, Paramount, anybody home? Think, Paramount, think." And it drives me nuts that we're at this stage where these developers, these publishers can't do this. They just pump out the same old stuff day in, day out. A good example is a game that I play, right? One of the games that I do play, sadly, not Battlefield, I like Battlefield, is NBA 2K25, right? We wanted a sequel to Battlefront. We never got it. However, because Star Wars Andor, great show by the way, did so well, this got a revitalization, right? This game actually topped its release numbers. So I think it did like 230,000 on Steam all at one time, the amount of players. And I think when they Andor ended and they did this, came out to like 249,000, right? So it beat its previous numbers. And again, knock on the developers and say, publisher or developer or license holder, what the F is wrong with you? You can see there's a demand for this. What are you doing? But you have these corporate fat cats that don't know nothing about art, don't know nothing about what the people want. They just literally, I mean, they don't know nothing. They're like literally, and trust me, I've worked with these vice presidents and senior vice presidents and CEOs. There's very few that I have worked with that I respect. Steve Jobs is one of them, right? Um, there are some visionaries that I notice at the vice president level and CEO level, but I would say 90+% you're dumb as fuck. Get out. Just get out. Right. And the only reason they're at these positions is because of family connections, friends connections, you know, I mean, just look at numerous corporations where you have like, oh yeah, I'm the CEO, my brother is the CIO, my sister-in-law is the, it's like that. Um, and they have no idea on what art is. They have no idea what the gamers want. They just pump this stuff out, hoping that it does well. Um, and they rush graphics houses. Like I watch videos where like you have graphics houses. Like good example, I was just watching something on the Flash, right? And the Flash movie, right? And the Flash movie, they were talking about the graphics on there, and at some points it was cringeworthy, like cringeworthy, right? You have like the guy who plays Superman, I forgot his name, doing like a punch, and you look at like they do a stop frame, and you're like, oh my gosh, that has nothing to look like Henry Cavill, right? And the, all the graphics were cringeworthy. Uh, the graphics house that came forward to explain it is like, hey, look, we apologize for the way the graphics were. We had 1 week to make it because the CEO of this company decided, hey, look, we need this done in 1 week. We're going to do it in 1 week. And that's why it looked so horrible. It looked like 2001 graphics, because they only had 1 week to deal with it. Um, Anyway, I know we're literally into this stream of about 50 minutes, and it just downloaded the game. So I'm probably going to have to change the title of this video because we're not going to be able to do any Grand Tactician. I'll probably do another video. We're going to do a dev blog. We're going to cover some of the stuff that they just do a new dev blog. This is interesting. This is the last one that I saw. This is interesting. They're developing a new game. Nice. I had a feeling they were doing that. Anyway, um, so going back to Marco, and what he was saying, there is a lot of expectations for Pax Romana, but the the games that were coming out in the 2000s, 1990s, 2010s that were just like eye popping are kind of gone, and it's gone because of corporate greed, right? They don't want to give a free hand to development studios. You have these CEOs, CIOs, chief creation officers that have done little to nothing. I've run into them. I've talked to them. I've been there. Um, that don't know anything about the genre, the IP, the audience, nothing. They look at PowerPoint presentations and they say, and their number one question is, how much money can we make from this? Right? Which is why they stick to tried and true, which is like Call of Duty, Battlefield, right? And like the latest Battlefields, Call of Duties haven't been doing that well because they just really want to repeat the same process. It's kind of like um, having a restaurant for 20 years and yeah, you make a really good, banana bread, right? And you figure like if you keep producing the same banana bread, right, year after year, people are just going to tolerate the crappy chicken, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese. Everything else you make is just garbage. And as long as you make the banana bread, and the banana bread, you're like, hey, let's cut some of the ingredients from that. Let's use some artificial ingredients, cut costs. And the banana bread is getting worse. Year after year, it's getting worse, right? Eventually, what's going to happen? I mean, it's simple logic, right? People are going to stop coming to your restaurant. You're going to go broke. But these people don't think that. They don't look at in adventurous artists and adventurous developers and say, let's do that. Let's invest money into it. It just comes back to a return. How much of a bonus can I make this month, right? If I can cut all these expenses, I can make another $1 million to add to my $256 million, right? And I really need that extra $1 million because oh, Bill has $254 million. He's across the street. I can tell Bill, well, I have $256 million in the bank. So it really comes down to just those people. And we, right at the bottom, suffer because we're not getting the games that we want. We're not getting the TV shows that we want. We're not getting the movies that we want. Like I'm not getting. I'm trying not to get real political, right? Like if you want to stay rich, right? I'm not talking about readjusting all this stuff, but look, give us what we want. Give us the games that we want, right? Let our lives have some kind of joy in them, right? Like I want to play a new Star Trek Birth of the Federation. I want to play a new Star Wars Rebellion. I want to see another TV series like Star Wars Andor. I want to see Star Trek Strange New World season 6. I want Star Trek Legacy. Why don't you want to make that? Well, we don't want to make Star Trek Legacy because the expenses, we're trying to sell to Skydance. Okay, that's great for you. I want Star Trek Legacy, and the fans want Star Trek Legacy. They've said so, at least one season. Well, yeah, but that we're trying to sell to Skydance. We're trying to like lower down our expenses. You know what? And at that point, I just want to put out a middle finger to them because it's like you know So I think I played Southern Strike. One of the five. I like World War II games. Don't get me wrong. But once you get to like number four, maybe try something else. Just saying. Uh, 3 days ago. That's free on Epic. I would recommend it. Civilization 7, horrible from the reviews that I've heard. I haven't even looked at the game from so the reviews online is just horrible. The problem is like nobody wants to experiment. Nobody wants to take the risk and experiment, right? Is you have civilization that does the same thing every year. Every year. We'll change this, we'll change the cultures. Nothing that really shakes up the industry, right? And I'm fine with Civilization 7, 8, 9, 10, but you got to push it forward, all right? And I said this on previous videos. If you're going to make a Civilization 7, 8, 9, 10, you have to do more than just give us the same old, same old. Yeah, better graphics. Okay. That's expected. Technology, right? What I expect out of that is push the limits of what civilization can do. What's a civilization? Well, civilization doesn't stop at the nuclear age, right? We don't stop at the information age, right? Like we're at the internet, right? We're gonna go past the internet. I mean, I'm hoping in 100 years we'll be on the moon, maybe on Mars, right? Put that into your game. Are you just not doing that because we're not at that stage personally as humanity? Or are you not doing that because you don't want to push the boundaries of what the game can do? I don't know what it is. But give us something different. It's the same old with Civilization. Alienware. I'm assuming they're a sponsor, which is why he has a laptop. I mean, if you guys ever ask me on what kind of gaming computer they should you should get, right? Instead of like all these Alienware and this and that, I would recommend is Framework, and I would recommend their 16-inch computer. The reason why I would recommend this is because everything is upgradable. Linus Tech Tips actually, Linus from Linus Tech Tips actually is an investor in this, right? This back part, actually, you can see it pop out, and you can snap this part in, which is a complete new graphics card, right? You can get a 7040 HS or 7700S. They're going to make new ones, but everything on this laptop is upgradable. You can do it this way, right? Or you can move this in the middle, take out the numpad, put this in the middle. This is the laptop that you I would recommend buying, right? The Alienware is okay. I've heard good things, I've heard bad things about it. As these vapor chambers, Linus Tech Tips, and a couple other YouTubers that I follow does testing on these, and they're okay. I think I had an interview with Ian. Nice guy. Bro, fanboys. We're all fanboys, Ian. Wow. gosh.
So I started out at a company called Intelligent Games, where I was developing, but I was a fairly junior member of the team to start with, and then worked my way up through
All right, so I'm gonna end it here. If you guys want to watch this, it's on well Slytherin Games. I would recommend you subscribe to them. I'm actually gonna do that. Um, I do like this. That's why I thumbs up it. Um, I plan to watch the rest of it. I would recommend you guys do too. But again, yeah, those are my kind of you know my thoughts on the whole industry. Usually when I have a couple of beers, I speak my mind. So yeah, I do recommend those are the things that I wish Slytherin would do is start take up Star Trek, take up Star Wars, take up the Expanse. You guys are the only ones that can do it properly, right? We see Paradox doing it, and 25 years I waited for a game. I literally pleaded. I was on the phone with the vice president of Paramount at one point, pleading on the phone for Star Trek Breath of the Federation sequel. And this is early, like mid 2000s. And finally, in 2023, we got it, only to be abandoned. You can imagine my frustration because, I mean, at that point, I was employed. I'm not employed now. Everything's falling. The walls are caving in on me. Um, But if I had a Star Trek game where I could play 4X, right? You know, have 15 Federation starships on the border, Romulans have 30. Tensions are brewing. How do you know? Should I bring out the Miranda class, the Constitution classes out of mothball? What should I do? Who should I put in command? How should I respond to a Romulan threat? The Klingon are not getting along with us diplomatically. There's other threats on the Cardassian side. My mind escapes reality for a while, right? Like my mind can just like say, stop, focus on this, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, the Cardassians. Oh my gosh, the Romulans. Oh man, what am I gonna do with the Klingons? Hopefully the Klingons can help. That's what these games. That's what gaming is about, right? And we don't have that. Right? We don't have that. We have Star Trek Infinite that came out and they was scuttled a couple of months after, and it's just it's upsetting. Anyway, sorry to leave off at a bad note. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I will catch you guys in the next one. See you then. I might even do another stream later tonight. We'll see. Catch you guys in the next one. See you then.